Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
We're doing things more Flynn time.
Yeah. So I watched the new Ava movie, except for like the last 15 minutes.
Okay, I'm ignoring it for now.
You're ignoring it for now?
Yeah, I have better things I could be doing than watching watching Ano give a middle finger to his fan base, which I love. More power to him.
Grand.
Like, I would too.
I mean, like, the action's kind of neat.
Yeah, I hear production-wise, flawless.
Man, they were like
flawless.
in love with it. Like there's some effects in this movie that are like, ooh, that's real nice.
And that's all it really needed to be.
And they went like real hard with the ass and titties in this.
Good.
Like real.
That's what I want.
A lot of it. But
I don't care. We already had a version of Ava that was like pretentious nonsense that doesn't actually mean anything.
Right.
If you just want to see the characters have fun action bullshit, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I actually have zero issue with the rebuild films.
Right.
And because he gets with Mari, right?
I mean, that's what I've heard. Like I said, I haven't watched the last 15
minutes. And
minutes.
That's so blessed.
Isn't it great?
It's so blessed.
Can actually, it definitively says, you two parties get nothing.
Yeah. Done.
It's really good.
I'm in love with that idea. And you know what? People will be upset with me. As a character design, Mari is so much better than Oscar Ray.
That's fair. I do like her.
She's so cute. Design-wise.
Really
We're just purely
design-wise,
yeah. I
mean, she's a little more, I guess, quote-unquote, modern.
She's very modern.
Than the two of them.
Yeah.
But what Megan had said, there's a character in the movie that is like way more modern and feels out of place kind of modern. Like she looks very Trigger.
Ooh, well,
you'll know who it is when you see her. But
cuz I don't give a shit about the story at this point.
Right. Who does?
Fuck it. People who complain about the story of the Ava rebuilds, I'm like I'm just like, I'm sorry, this is not the product for you.
just watch the rebuild 2, or we can watch Zabisto.
That's such a cool
scene, that's probably my favorite general thing.
It's it's action nonsense, and I was so there for it.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I watched that. It was pretty alright. I had a good time,
and I'm sure it is.
Just want to watch him beat up an old man.
Yeah.
As usual.
Fuck it,
man. It's really cool. Also, Shinji just loves having people's heads explode around him.
Yeah.
Just generally.
He loves it.
It's his favorite thing. It happens so often that I can't not believe that he loves it.
Oh, he definitely loves it.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so I guess we'll get back into it. Sorry, I wanted to, before I forgot that I told you I watched that, I wanted to tell you that I watched it.
Reasonable. Okay,
all right.
Back here.
Back at it at the office, the town
City
hall. City Hall.
Yeah.
Not a town, it's a city, I guess.
I think it's more of a town than a city.
I
Is there an actual definition difference?
Yeah. Like, there's the, I mean, you know, colloquially, it's kind of easy to tell the difference between a town and a city. Like, this is a town.
Yeah.
You know? And then you have, like, Efberg, which is the city. Kind of. And then you have Richmond.
So the definition of city,
uh-huh.
and it's a long one.
Oh, boy.
A large town.
No. A large town, that's what it says.
It's just what it is.
That's awesome. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, huh?
Yep. Town. I did not spell that. Oh, well, it came up anyway. Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google.
An urban area that has a name, defined boundaries, a local government, and that is generally larger than a village or smaller than a city.
All right. We know. Very cool.
So Echo's a town.
Yeah, Echo's a town.
Echo
is not
is
a
a
city.
town.
Yeah.
The gravel parking lot makes it difficult to adequately line up my shot. Everything ends up looking slightly crooked. I know I could probably fix it in post, but that's more work than I'm not looking forward to.
Lazy.
Carl, meanwhile, has his eyes glued to his phone. It looks like he found a pair of earbuds because he's got those in too. He probably just had them.
Yeah.
For refocusing, I take stock of the footage I've got from here so far. The midday summer, summer's not even there. What am I? Sun means that my recordings are all pretty much well lit, but I can't help but think that a sunset would be more symbolic.
Ooh, pretentious.
We all know Chase.
We know.
He's a pretentious little bitch. Maybe I'll come back later. I don't know.
His favorite filmmaker is probably Kubrick.
Maybe. I don't know. Which one's Kubrick?
The Shining. Stanley Kubrick.
Right. Yeah. Well, you don't think he would... Who's that auteur that people like, that did, like, Rushmore?
the auteur. I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like the Isle of Dogs guy.
Oh yeah, Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
But I like Wes Anderson.
That's pretentious as fuck, right?
No, it's not.
It's like quirky pretentiousism.
Okay, it depends. There's a okay.
There's no arguing this.
There's a scale with Wes's films. Okay.
Look, I've watched a solid 2 of his movies.
So if you want pretension in Wes Anderson, and I do actually genuinely love this movie. The Life Aquatic is very pretentious. Like the film The Life Aquatic is a really pretentious film.
And so is Fantastic Mr. Fox.
It's not, though.
No, it is.
It's not, though.
The stilted pacing makes it pretentious.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
It's there for comedic effect, I know, but it's pretentious as fuck.
Maybe it's just too highbrow for you.
Oh, no, because I'm the highest brow. That's the reason why I know.
Maybe it's too sideways brow for you. It's not highbrow, it's sideways. It's a way you just don't understand.
No, I understand. I understand it perfectly fine. I just don't like it.
That's fair. I love it. It's really good. I think it's great, but whatever.
Oh, my phone vibrates in my shorts. Grabbing it, I see a new message from Leo. Oh, the hand. We got there.
We did.
Jesus Christ, this text.
With Jenna and TJ playing football.
He didn't put the
umlaut. Is it an umlaut?
I don't know what the fuck that's called.
I think it's called an umlaut.
Oh, because this was Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Leo's around. Yeah, that's when they did that. Okay. So Leo's still keeping to his schedule.
Yeah, Chase is being studious.
Yeah, for once in his life.
In his damn life.
I'm assuming he means soccer, but I decide now isn't the time to press him on word choice. Sounds fun. Filming with Carl and Flynn here. Don't mention you're with Flynn.
Yeah, how dare you?
I slide my phone in my pocket, unlocking the trunk of my car so that I can start pulling away all the equipment. Quick response from someone playing soccer. Upon checking my phone, though, the message turns out to be from Carl.
Get back to work. No texting. That's really good, Carl.
You know.
That's actually really good.
I look around the trunk hatch to see Carl smirking muzzle, his chin buried in his hoodie. Stepping back between his behind the truck, I begin to text back.
The AC breaks in there.
Wow! I hope the AC breaks in there.
You gotta lean into the asshole that Chase truly is.
I don't know, he didn't seem comfortable doing that in Leo's route.
It's different. It's different. This is friend asshole, not emotional manipulation asshole.
What?
It's very.
Is that what Chase was doing?
It's very different.
After hitting send, I set my phone down, beginning to lock up the camera in the neon orange University of Pueblo hard case I borrowed. That was words.
That was quite
another message from Carl.
I hope your hymen breaks in there. Carl, please.
What the hell is that supposed to be?
Like, actually.
What?
What?
I finish up packing up everything and shut the trunk, waiting for the next response. As if on cue, my phone vibrates once again. I also realize now that Flynn's standing outside of City Hall entryway with his arms crossed, staring furrow-browed at my vehicle.
Why the fuck is Carl here just sitting in the car?
Living life.
He really is.
I threw up my arms and shrugged, checking my most recent message.
You know, because you and Flynn are doing it right now.
Okay. I slap my paws over my face, taking a moment to make sure my phone screen is nowhere near Flynn's line of sight.
The hell are you two doing? I got your shit set up.
Stepping around the car, I text back. I don't have a Heyman, as far as I know. I see Carl inside the car texting rapidly. Flynn just dips his head in his pocket, his hands in his pocket, and looks impatient.
Well, you are an otter and have musk glands down there. Third hole. Oh my god.
Jesus.
Literally, Carl.
I decide that's enough of that exchange for now. Slide my phone back into my pocket.
Oh, he's fucking stoned off his rocker, ain't he?
Flynn is squinting his eyes at the Ran, who seems chuckling to himself. He ate too much of an edible this morning, apparently. Flynn looks at me, then back to Carl.
Probably for the best he's staying in the car then. Come on. So I'm guessing there would have been drama with his aunt, the mayor, if Carl walked in.
Yeah.
So I made the good decision with my brain.
He turns, heading back inside. I follow, catching a glimpse of Carl smiling to himself before going back to his mobile game.
L.
Right?
L.
I'm just looking at him. I'm just like,
oh, he's making Chase take the L.
oh
Haha.
no.
Yes.
I guess this is a mailroom. Flynn leads me through the narrow hall, the ceiling leaden with visible old pipes, and the walls covered in dents and scratches. Eventually, we turn into a colorful room that looks like a mix between an old post office and a kindergarten classroom.
All right, like I said, archive files are in the back along the south wall. The computer in the corner is logged into the county's GIS viewer, maps and shit, basically.
He points to a cream-colored computer that cream. What is this? The 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I mean, this still takes place in 2015.
Yeah, but, some place in a podunk town like this is not going to update their computer systems at their offices.
After 20 years?
Fuck no, man.
Oh my god.
They don't got that kind of money.
That must be from around the early 2000s by the look of the make. And dust visible on the top of the tower. Oh, so like where the native burial grounds and that sort of things are. Flynn crosses his arms, looking back down at me.
Yeah, no. As far as I know, the Meseta tribal government hasn't put forth any sacred site claims within miles of Echo. Oh.
Wow, really?
I wonder. Really?
Yeah, I gotta play Clifford's route in the smoke room.
You can just do that.
Yeah, sure. You can just watch the playthrough.
I'll just watch. So I know.
With it all censored.
That'll be fine. So I don't have to experience that.
You'll be looking at what is it? The
Did you choose the
Plush
card?
Fire.
Yeah, you chose.
Flame Eater.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that
really
image
good.
so much.
It's a good image. It's pretty funny.
Why's that?
I don't have a whiff of shit's worth of a clue or care. All right, Flynn. Jeez. Go ask Jenna if you want to be all weird about it.
I don't think she has much ties to her tribe.
Yeah, well, it doesn't stop her from being a bitch about it whenever she sees fit.
Flynn sucks in his cheeks as if saying that left a bit of an unpleasant taste in his mouth. Flynn speaking less than kindly toward folks isn't anything new, but not unusual about Jenna. He looks down at some papers in his hands as if they suddenly were very interesting. Is this about what she said when you got Carl the lighter from the reservation? He's slitted
eyes.
Oh, blah, blah. Back up to me, his lips thinned.
You thought that was bullshit too, right?
Well, I think she was just still, I don't know, den mother mode with regards to TJ after what you did. If you want to get everyone talking again, you should just apologize. There's a pause in the conversation as clouds cover shades the light coming from the window.
That's fun. It's not just about the lighter crap. She doesn't give a shit about me, and she really didn't give a shit about Sydney.
I blink. I'm still amazed at how much his name is being mentioned after all these years of silence on the subject, especially from Flynn. I mean, it's been like 5+ years.
You know.
He catches my expression and grunts, the Gilla resting the side of his hip against the sorting counter.
When he died, all she fussed about was how it affected TJ. Sin could rot for all she cared.
That's not fair. We were kids, and people react to that sort of trauma stuff differently. Maybe helping TJ is what kept her occupied.
Oh yeah? Remember a few months before it happened, when all that shit was going on with Sid's dad? And fucking Jenna, all she did was try to shield TJ from all the negativity of the situation.
She tried to help, but he was different. I don't know. Fuck, we were just kids.
No, she fucking hated Sydney. Carl hated Sydney. Leo hated Sydney. TJ would never fucking admit it, but he hated Sydney. And you hated Sydney.
Only a little bit. He looks at me in the eyes now. I'm quiet for a moment, trying to think of what to say.
Was it because Sydney was an asshole? I don't know anything about Sydney.
You get to know Sydney in some of the other routes.
Okay. So I'll bet he was an asshole.
You start getting there was the one flashback.
Yeah, where he like kicked over TJ's.
Yeah, he like shoved TJ into his
sandcastle. That's right. Yeah.
And you know what? Same.
Eat sand, nerd.
I do the exact same thing. Sydney did nothing wrong.
Wow.
Flynn, meanwhile, just looks expectant, seemingly waiting for me to blanch and try to defend myself. Sydney was an asshole.
Ah, see, there we go.
He raises his chin some, his crossed arms seemingly to squeeze more tightly over his chest.
Yeah, so am I.
No, not like him.
Nobody knew him like I did.
You said that, but that doesn't mean the crap he pulled on us, on TJ, was any way justified. I'm pretty sure he genuinely enjoyed watching people get hurt. Flynn stares slack-jawed before quickly gritting his teeth.
He liked wrestling. He liked pirates. He liked to pulpy adventure shit. But he did not like hurting people. TJ cried every day, no matter what. He could see a dead fly on the windowsill and start bawling. And if you would all drop everything and come rushing to his aid, scorning the shit out of anybody who didn't. We couldn't make jokes, we couldn't tease each other, we couldn't roughhouse, and we couldn't even fucking swear without TJ getting upset. It isn't like we could just go hang out with someone else. This is Echo, and Leo is fucking dead set on keeping the group together. Though now the group for Leo essentially consists of two members, your ass and his cock. Wow. Wow, bro.
I mean, but it's not false.
You know.
I frown deeply. Before I can interject, he continues.
When Sydney died, you all convinced yourself he was this fucking monster kid so that it didn't have to hurt as much. I ain't gonna apologize. Fucking hell, they should.
Flynn uncrossed his arms, staring some at the solo window of the cramped mailroom. The cloud covers lifted.
I'll be at the front desk. If you take something, always put it back where you found it.
No. He turns, making his way back down the narrow hall. I'm left alone. Like you always will.
Always will.
I mean, he's got kudzu in one route.
True.
And people like them as a couple.
I still think kudzu
I think that's the most popular ship.
Well, it's a canon. It's a canon one, kind of.
I mean, it's facts. It's facts.
Yeah, you know.
Everything feels really quiet now. A sort of weird solace amidst the shelves upon shelves of Echo's history that I'm not going to read.
Nope.
I rub my face and muzzle, spinning a whisker as the previous conversation plays back in my head and begins to fade like a passing dream. With a slow exhale, I turn and head over to the archives. They all seem to be categorized by number. Like, I'm not repeating those numbers.
Okay.
I grab a random file off the shelf. Yeah, that number. Flipping it open, I see a cluster of 15 or so papers and permits for a place called Adelaide's Thrifts and Pawn.
It's a good name.
Sure. It sounds... You know, I forgot to mention this back in Leo's playthrough. Like,
yeah.
I really meant to.
However many hours later, go on.
Yeah, let's do it. But if you remember in Route 65, they mentioned that abandoned, not Janice, Joyce, the bus driver.
Yeah.
She mentions that her son is named Keith and that he was doing things that she didn't like.
Yeah.
And if you remember, the closed down bar that you come across was called Keith and Brian's.
Ah. All right then. So Keith is in the ground.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead as hell because Brian put him there.
Yeah.
Was Keith the first boyfriend?
No.
Okay.
No.
He's just one of the victims.
He was helping Brian with the drug stuff, and that's what Joyce didn't like him doing.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, there was a whole bunch of cool setup. And,
okay then.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Too much work got put into the world and character building in this game. Like, fuck. Because that's such a nothing addition, but it kind of tells you more about the relationship that bus driver had with her son.
Right.
And it even involves Brian, and it tells you more about Brian.
Yeah, it's all the little loose ends. We don't have those.
No.
We do not have them.
And the loose ends I thought there was going to be, I realized Smoke Room was a game. So
Whoopsie.
So it's like, oh, no loose ends.
Yes, sir.
It sounds familiar, and it only takes me a little bit of pursuing to figure out why. Near the exit of Route 93 to Flint Road, there's this faded old shack of rotten wood. Growing up, all that was left of the sign out there was Edelin's thrift. Edelin? Like from Owl House?
Yeah, it's Ida's.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's where the portal is.
Let's go.
I think it's bulldozed though now. Yeah, since I didn't see it on the drive-in. According to these documents, Adelaide Vandenberg applied for and successfully obtained a business license and deed to the property in 79. I'm guessing these folders corresponded to a piece of property of within Echo, or a parcel. That helps some, but I still am not sure exactly where to look. I put the file away and move over toward the computer Flynn got ready for me. The screen display an aerial photograph of Echo, with this polygon drawn over it, like a bizarre checkerboard. Clicking on one, nothing happens. I click again, and the pointer turns into an hourglass. The program's starting that it's not responding. Damn it. As the hourglass rolls on the screen, I think I hear the front door open down the hall. At first, I wonder if it's Carl, but then a voice speaks that I don't recognize. Then Flynn's. I can only make out a little of what he says.
That's what they told you at the county office? You could have come here.
The hourglass spins.
The unincorporation. That it shouldn't affect developers who...
Finally, a little window pops up, listing owners, addresses, parcel numbers, links to building plans, and other fields. As slow as hell, but this is actually kind of neat, I guess. Curious, I scroll over to the location of my old house and click. This time, it reacts a little faster.
The complaint forms are physical, not much of an online presence at...
It's currently listed as abandoned and condemned. It looks like the people my parents sold it to ditched it rather quickly. I moved back towards the archives, picking up my old house's corresponding file and setting it down on the counter. Opening it, I see a weathered floor plan of my old house dating back to 1986. Nothing here, but could remotely be considered of interest to my project. However, I put the file back where I found it. As I hear the increasingly quiet rasp of Flynn's voice in the other room, I realize he's probably too busy to hold my hand with regards to where to look. Especially after the previous conversation, it might be best to just give him some space. I stare at the aerial display on the computer monitor, trying to figure out where to start looking.
Ooh. So many cool choices.
Yeah. What do you want to know about?
I want to know about the mine.
Oh, why do you want to know about the mine?
Because stuff happens in the mine.
Well, gotta play Nikolai's route and Smoker.
I'll just watch it. It's fine.
There's something about the old mine that feels off to me. Really?
Really?
Unlike pretty much every locale in Echo, the mine was the one place we absolutely did not play. Sydney tried to make one of our scavenger hunts objectives down in there once, but TJ told his mom about it, and that was the end of that. After looking up the parcel number, I retrieved the corresponding file and lay it out on the mail counter. This one has an archival note attached to the front of it. I guess my hunch might be right. Opening the file, the first thing I note is that there's a seriously large amount of documents here, and even a laminated old photo. Huh.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So it's in 1915.
1915.
Yeah. There's a hell of a lot more verdant.
Yep.
Verdant. What does that word even mean?
Maybe green, like with trees.
Green.
Like it's more foliage. It has more foliage.
Gambare, internet.
Gambare. You gonna let it read to us?
Okay. Well, it doesn't read the definition. But
Just the word? Damn.
Verdant.
What
There
a
we go.
voice.
I know,
That almost
right?
sounds like a real person.
Verdant.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Whoa, spooky. Anyway.
Right?
Anyway, yes.
Of countryside, green with grass or other rich vegetation.
Okay, so yeah, it's just got a lot of trees.
Yeah. Cool. That's a hell of a lot more verdant than these days. Might have to do with the with the damming they did up north in the 50s. I'm guessing the CM 1915 is referring to the year the photo was taken. Within the folder itself, many of the documents seem to be legal in nature, including documentation about a lawsuit of some sort.
Is that the murder?
I don't know. The one on the top seems to be related to the tourist program Echo tried a decade ago. There's a few papers about the historical heritage grant and the installation of a bench and two lamps outside the mine's entrance. There's even reference to a large placard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I know what that refers to. Installed into the side of the rock face outside, but I don't remember ever seeing that. Following this, there's another folder within the contents. Some condemned notice and squatters evictions dating from the 70s to 75. Said folder also notes a work order for the installation of rebar bars in the mine front to prevent entry in 76. Next, there's an actual lawsuit documentation itself. The lawsuit contributed in part to the official closing of the mine during the war in 42. The working conditions were abysmal, and the owner of the mine were heavily involved in town government, so there were corruption changes. The Danica mine, also known as the copper, silver, coal, gold.
Yep.
That's a word. Mine
stuff.
was the most in-demand employer in the northern portion of the state for decades. This was a little part due to the management of the owner, but rather the natural conditions of the mine itself. The structure of the bedrock cave-in kept cave-ins unlikely, and its chemical composition kept the temperature stable and somewhat bearable. Flooding was a minor concern due to the low water table of the region. In other mines within the state, miners may have been expected to stand in 2 feet of dirty water in 40-degree temperatures. All the while, with the looming threat of cave-in being a very real threat, amplified with every strike with the sledgehammer. Yet even still, the mine managed to have one of the highest casualty rates for its workers in all of the Southwest. The suit argued that it was at root due to the severe neglect by the owner, Gregory Bridges. Oh, that's who it was at the time. Okay. Miners were required to buy their own tools, including candles, sledges, picks, stakes, and even dynamite. Their wages, however, were such low amounts that many miners must have been forced to choose between having their tools and their family being able to eat that week.
Yeah, miners had like real shit situations. I know, like in West Virginia, or not West Virginia, in some state that I don't remember. Like, you know, people that, like, even living in company-owned housing and like shopping at the company commissary, they still like workers still ended up owing their employers at the end of every week, just, you know, based on the wages that they were getting, which was trash.
Yeah, well, that's not really a field anymore. So.
No, not really. There's no, you're not really a miner anymore, huh?
Many chose the latter, as most men who moved to Echo did so with the explicit purpose of being able to provide for said families. Bridges operated the mine under constant fear and of work unionization. To usher this,
Assuage,
whatever. Bleh. He hired an incredibly nationally diverse assortment of workers. He rationalized the rationale, though denied in court, was to assure that no group of workers spoke the same language, thus reducing the chance of collaboration for better working conditions or wages. This preventative action was partially hindered due to the nature of the work itself. Communication was crucial, especially in the low light conditions of the lower depths. Despite the language barrier, miners were expected to coordinate dangerous group mining procedures. For example, for standard ore extraction, one miner would hold a spike in the mine wall, while another swung the sledge towards the spike. With light sources being scarce, this meant that the risk of striking one of the miners with the sledge was a constant risk, and something that occurred with some frequency. Many miners were crippled from blows to the paws or arms, and then once fired were unable to support their families. This led to several notable starvation incidences within the town. Man, this town sounds great!
Absolutely. Well, it doesn't sound wildly unrealistic from actual mining towns.
It's facts.
Genuinely.
It's facts. The lawsuit documents also refers to a brief riot in 1915 where a grisly murder took place within the mine itself. I make sure to write summaries of all of this information down on a blank sheet of printed paper before putting everything back. It's this sort of crap that makes me glad I live in this age I do now. I don't think I'd make a very good miner.
Probably not.
No. All right. That's that, I guess.
The school.
After finding the parcel number for the GIS thing, I can't seem to find the corresponding file to it. It's like it doesn't exist in any records here. Or it might have just been misplaced. I'm going to go with the second theory. Maybe I'll ask Flynn about it later.
Huh. Let's look at Carl's mansion.
Okay. I know enough about Carl's family to know that his house is seriously old. His great something or another is the town founder, after all.
All right, then.
Yep, good old James Hendricks. Yeah. The place that has been seriously modernized into more stucco Adobe style, but there's some history underneath all that. Growing up, Carl overheard all of this and stories thinking the place was haunted. It freaked him out pretty bad. So much so, his parents basically begged me to have sleepovers with him during the weekends, and even some weekdays. Not that I minded, of course. Carl had all the video game consoles that were out, and his parents bought him M-rated games.
Ooh.
Right? I got to stay up with a giant TV, blowing up aliens and running over hookers.
So, Saints Row 3?
I thought Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, aliens aren't particularly...
Yeah, but Saints Row wasn't out at that time, was it? If this was like 2003.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess not. I mean...
I think those are separate games.
Right. They probably are. Probably so.
Yeah.
The running over hookers is very Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. I remember he started to become less afraid as time went on, and his parents stopped asking me for me to come over as much. So, of course, shitbag younger me told Carl a bunch of stories about a ghost bride who said I saw standing outside his house at midnight.
He was terrible.
And that's how I got to spend my whole 5th grade summer vacation living at Carl's place. After looking up the parcel number, I received the corresponding file and lay it out at the mail counter. This one has a parcel notice attached to the front. That's pretty surprising on account that it's a residential lot. Opening the folder, a photo placed in front of all of the documents immediately catches my attention.
Oh, it's
William.
William, yeah.
Yeah.
It is an interesting photo to just have in the
But that's
the
so
archive.
Murdoch, though. I assume these photos are taken by Murdoch.
Okay.
And he would just take a picture. Jesus, Chase.
Wow.
Yeah, just wow. Man, is he bonkers for William's honkers?
I suppose. Dang, William, them bobbies.
A part of my mind immediately flashes back to Leo, but even he wasn't anywhere close to being this defined.
Jesus.
I guess life in the early 20th century will do that to you. I should probably read the caption note for this that was attached. Sheriff William Adler rests after surviving the corporal collapse of the Hendricks Castle. The Hendricks Castle? Below the note are some rather old rudimentary building plans crumbled at the edges. The parchment is all weird, cursive, and I can't read it. Man, reading old cursive, I'm just like, how was anyone supposed to read this Dr. Scroll bullshit?
Like, they have like that weird shape that looks like an F, but it's actually an S. Like, what the hell is that?
And like everything's so squished, and I'm just like, how am I supposed to read this, bitch?
How are you supposed to read it?
Whatever.
It's trash.
It does look a little like Carl's house, but much, much larger. What follows are a series of deed transfers from various members of the Hendricks family, and eventually more modern building plans. There's even a cutout from a magazine, Southwest Modern, which shows off the kitchen space back when it was first redesigned. I noticed something wedged in the back, a beige piece of paper that doesn't look like anything else in here. A poem? Why would this be in here?
Embrace of these lands. Let's say bake, maybe.
Boik. I don't know.
Huh.
As black takes the sky, hot turns to cold. The safety of ignorance. From the specters of the day. Shut their eyes, they wail. For the dark blanket. And to save them from hell. And the blonde tarantula pulls itself from the depths, wrought within and without, in search of a suitor who will not live past the vehemence of its love. Okay, sure. I haven't met a character named Boik. I don't know.
We'll see.
I flip over the poem and set it down on the counter. On the other side is a notice of death for reference in the estate transfer. It's for a James Hendricks who passed away in 1913. The cause of death is listed as poison injection, tarantula. This is pretty unsettling. I don't think tarantulas were poisonous. I mean, I know they aren't. They aren't because I fear.
Fear searched.
Reasonable after seeing one on the back porch at 3 a.m. I guess that poem was some sort of informal epitaph for this guy. I don't know. Regardless, it's a shitty way to die. I set the poem / a death notice back into the folder and make my way to make note of it for my project. It's all that was up for the parcel, so I placed the folder back in its slot on the south wall.
Now for City Hall.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
City Hall has a lot of history. I assume most of the really old stuff isn't on file, but I'd be curious to see what's there regardless. After looking up the parcel number, I retrieve the corresponding file and lay it out on the mail counter. This one has an archival notice attached to the front. That's good. Hopefully that means there's supplemental information in here. Unfortunately, upon opening the folder, I see there aren't many documents. There is, however, a marked photo of some sort of wedged between folder edges.
Oh hey.
Yeah, see, you got William and Clifford.
There they are.
They
out here.
They really want people to know that the smoke room exists.
They really do.
People should go pick that up. Is that if that is really the date of origin in the top right corner? This photo of this guy was taken at City Hall 100 years ago. I look back at the folder, finding a caption note on the image. Sheriff William Adler and
Wensleydale.
Whatever.
Wensleydale.
Cliff Tibbets.
What a name.
Right? At town meeting to discuss Echo/Mesta tribe relations. Adler. I just realized now that that's Janice's last name. Must be a distinct relative of hers. Yeah, because they're both coyotes.
Coyotes. Yep.
The rest of the document in the folder just seems to consist mostly of parcels. Proposed extensions of and use of changes for the building. A lot of them didn't pan out. There is a city government roster here, though, and it lists the historical election results for the town going back to early 20th century. Surprisingly, Flynn and his aunt aren't the only Moors I see on the list. It looks like the Moore family has been involved in public office in some capacity as far back as 1914, which is doubly surprising, noting the prejudice against reptiles that was pretty heavy back then.
Is there reptilian racism in Smoke Room?
They haven't been introduced yet.
Oh, so well, I mean,
they're in the next update.
Right.
So
okay, that'll be interesting to see, huh?
There's a lot of like prejudice undertones in Nikolai's route, because you get to see like the other immigrant mine workers,
right,
and like how poorly they're treated. So it's like, oh, that just seems to be like a theme within that route.
You know, I mean, it was things were shitty. Things were pretty shitty back then in regards to prejudices against people that weren't Americans,
the Caucasians.
Yeah, that weren't the white folk.
It's a whole thing. There's this whole negative stereotype about them being evil and controlling the government that persists even today.
Oh, but that's a joke, isn't it? Like the lizard people running the government.
Yeah.
This is a funny joke.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So it's pretty weird. A family like the Moores managed to keep getting elected back when the ignorance level was much higher. It's not like many people were voting. I'll make a note to ask Flynn about it, as sensitive as possible. I go ahead and put everything back in the folder before returning it to the shelf. So, what next? As I turn around, I see the mayor standing in the doorway. She's peering at me inquisitively. A little startled, I straighten up. Oh, hi, Mayor. I was just finishing up. She watches me speak, like staring at my mouth, not my eyes. It's honestly freaking me out a little. She doesn't respond. Mayor? Make sure you put everything back where you found it. Oh, yeah, don't worry, I did that already. Did you now? She steps into the room and picks up a folder from the edge of the counter. I realized it as one of the abandoned mines. Oh, God, yeah, I forgot that one, sorry. She stands there with the folder held out, waiting for me. I quickly move to take it, and I try to ignore the hard stare I feel at the back on my back as I walk to the archive wall. Far left end, second cubby from the top. Oh, thanks. I didn't. It looks like Flynn's already about ready to take off. You gonna give him some company? The way she phrases that makes me reconsider a hasty response. Sure, I can hang out with him and his roommate. You have a boy in your car. I blink. I have Carl in my car. Yes, he wanted to hang out back while I did a lot of work. Yeah. I feign a chuckle. Though not really well. I've never been good at that whole smiling for your eyes thing. Carl Hendricks? Yes. Have a good rest of your evening, Chase.
That was...
thank you, Mayor. You too.
That was an interesting interaction we had with the Mayor.
There's a lot of interesting interactions in this game, though.
True.
She moves down the hall. After a moment, I follow suit to meet up with Flynn in the front desk. Okay, and we can end the part here.
One, yeah.
It's all good. Was it fun seeing Smoke Room characters?
It was kind of neat,
just a glimpse of them.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's a lot going on in the history of this town, as well as going on right now in this town.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, and
It's actually unnecessary.
you want to learn it, play the other game, I guess, or something.
And if you want to know even more lore, there's the sequel game. Double the lore.
Still in its infancy.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we'll get there, I guess.
I mean, Smoke Room's on build 15, and Arches is on build 3.
Dang.
So it'll be a while.
Yeah,
but
quite a bit.
it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all just like, damn, things are happening.
Yeah. Well,
I'm learning so much.
you're going to be invested for years.
I mean, that's kind of exciting though, because it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You probably never grow tired of it because it's pretty
It's
damn
just
interesting.
fun. Like,
yeah,
it's
for sure.
like, ignoring how much I don't like how horny Clifford is as a character, that route is really cool.
Mm. Okay. I mean,
You get lost in a forest at one point.
Okay.
That's a time.
Clifford
the bad
is-
things forest, where nothing bad happens at all.
The bad things forest where nothing, it's misleading.
Where nothing bad happens.
Nothing bad happens. Of course not. Absolutely not.
Like, that route doesn't even give you the safety of being like in the town of Echo.
Right.
You're just like, we're gonna go explore the forests.
Cool.
And it's like,
like, I mean, that was the forest that like we saw in that picture, right?
yeah.
And which Chase says isn't really a thing around here as much anymore.
And very much about like the lore of like the Native American tribes and their relationship with Echo.
That's pretty
It's like,
cool.
wow, that's cool. I'm super into this.
Just stop being so horny, Cliff, please.
Cliff, please. You too, Murdoch. Samuel, you too.
Y'all, please. Just stop.
We're gonna bathe together. No. you stop that.
You'll bathe at separate times, like adults.
But yeah, see you around, everyone.
Goodbye.